Oh man, things never get boring in the world of the Vegas Golden Knights fans. Now, this video is going over a pretty unfortunate situation, but we are spinning it in a way to make it a little bit more comedic because we're not talking about the player in particular that this bad news is happening to. Instead, we're talking about the player's teammates and how circumstantially this absolutely does not align with the idea that many people, myself included, had of the Vegas Golden Knights heading into, honestly, like partway through last season and this season as well. So, we're going over goaltending once again in Vegas because that has been a very hot topic over the past few years, talking about Thompson and Lehner and Fleury and the controversy and the sword and the Vezina and the trade for nothing. It's been a wild ride for Vegas Golden Knights fans, and the ride has gotten even wilder with the news from yesterday that Robin Lehner, starting goaltender, probably one of the top 3 goalies in the entire Pacific Division with Demko and Markstrom, is expected to miss the entire 2022-2023 NHL season after it was determined that he will require hip surgery. An exact timeline of his recovery is to be determined. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is very bad news. Unfortunate to the maximum right here, because Robin Lehner, as we have known, has been a very good goaltender. He's a good dude. He goes out there and he has shown off a lot of his own personal struggles with mental health, and for that, I admire the heck out of this guy. However, he is a talented goaltender, and he pretty much, quote-unquote, won the crease from Marc-Andre Fleury after Fleury's Vezina caliber year, wherein they also realized, hey, he just happens to be older, and after the Vegas Golden Knights traded Fleury away for a player that they ended up terminating, thus trading him away for pretty much nothing. They chose Lehner to be their guy, which is not really a bad decision. It's just one that kind of slaps Marc-Andre Fleury in the face because he had already made it public that, yeah, he loves Vegas. He had been there ever since the beginning. He had a family that liked Vegas as well, and they were very accustomed to being in the area, and they didn't have any ideas of them wanting to move. And then Fleury found out via Twitter that he actually got traded. There was an entire controversy saying, hey, Fleury might not actually play for the Blackhawks, and he might just straight up retire because, you know, he's got a family. Lo and behold, he played in Chicago, he got traded over to Minnesota, he re-signed in Minnesota, he's got a no-movement clause, or a no-trade clause, one of the two, in Minnesota, so now he's got a little bit more security over there. But Robin Lehner was supposed to be the mainstay guy for Vegas, and he was supposed to be like that for a while. This entire thing with the hip surgery sidelining him for the entire 22-23 season is so unfortunate because you see goaltenders all the time pretty much end their careers, or not even, okay, not end their careers, it's probably the wrong terminology to use, but significantly hold back their careers after hip surgery is done on their bodies. You saw Tuukka Rask recently go through a hip surgery that pretty much turned him away from being the mainstay Boston Bruins guy, even though he was so extraordinarily talented. You saw Corey Schneider, who is one of the best Canucks goaltenders ever when it comes to single-season individual performances, have a hip surgery as a member of the Devils and completely break down in terms of his ability to keep up with the NHL game. Hip surgery is no joke, and goaltenders getting this, it spells a little bit more doom and gloom than if it was just a regular skater getting a hip surgery as well. So I, for one, I'm going out there and saying, hey, Robin Lehner, I mean, the guy's very talented. We know this. Hopefully he's able to go out there and recover fully so that in 2023, 2024, he is the best version of himself. He signed on until 2025, making $5 million a season for the Vegas Golden Knights, and he is only 31 years old right now. Goaltenders age pretty well, I would say, just in general. Some goaltenders play until their mid-30s and they're pretty alright still. But Robin Lehner with a .907 save percentage and a .283 goals against in 44 games last year, definitely we hope that he's able to bounce back and put up some numbers similar to that of his very first Vegas Golden Knights stint, where in 3 games played he had a .940 save percentage. Heck, even his Islanders stint in 2018-19 where he had a .930 save percentage at 46 games played. We kinda hope that Lehner is able to rehab himself and get to that point. But all Lehner conversation aside, this opens up the door to a few more conversations as to what the heck is going to happen with the Vegas Golden Knights. Firstly, Logan Thompson is probably going to be your main guy right now, barring the Golden Knights actually make any trades for a goaltender that is on the market already. Thompson last season played a pretty significant role with the team. He had 19 games played, a .268 goals against, and a .914 save percentage, which actually was a better set of numbers than what Robin Lehner put up. It's just, Logan Thompson is a brand new NHL goalie. He has not been a mainstay full-time starter like Lehner has been in the past, and so there isn't really a sample size to justify saying, okay, Thompson is for sure better than Lehner over a span of, let's say, 40 or 50 games on a year. Thompson, unless you go out there and get yourselves another guy, is going to have to shoulder this load by himself with whichever goaltender you call up from the Henderson Silver Knights, because boy oh boy, the Golden Knights, man, things probably would have been better if you had a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury in the pipeline being able to split that load in general. I know he's got his own problems right now with the comments that he made at the charity event regarding the 2003 Canadian World Junior Team accusations. But jumping back over to Vegas, though, there are two more conversations I wanted to have. Firstly, it involves Max Pacioretty, because boy oh boy, if Robin Lehner was going to get a surgery that sidelined him for the entire 22-23 season, methinks you probably would not have needed to trade Pacioretty away in the first place for nothing, right? And you gotta remember, Max Pacioretty injured himself in the Achilles during like a practice or a training session or whatever, and it was actually leaked to the media by somebody that happens to probably be working with the Carolina Hurricanes organization. If Pacioretty does not get traded to Carolina, he's not going to Carolina and he's not practicing with Carolina people. If he's still here in Vegas, who knows if he actually injures his Achilles, and who knows if he actually gets sidelined for a good chunk of the year. If you sidelined Robin Lehner and put his $5 million LTIR in the books, you're probably not going to need to trade away Pacioretty in the first place. So now things are even worse. You go over to the second conversation I wanted to have, Jack Eichel. This is a tweet that went sort of viral after the Robin Lehner news was announced, of Jack Eichel reacting to the situation. He's walking down the tunnel in a Buffalo Sabres uniform and he slams his stick right up onto his knee and he breaks it. You can even hear him swearing in the clip as well, because yeah, Jack Eichel is a competitive dude. Jack Eichel wanted to get traded away from Buffalo because he wanted to play for a winning organization that also would happen to allow him to get that surgery that he wanted. The Vegas Golden Knights were that team. He got sent over, and a lot of people, myself included, were like, darn it, man, Vegas just keeps on getting good players. Pietrangelo, Eichel, Stone, Pacioretty. This is a winning team right here. They have so much success in the postseason based off of their historical data. Eichel is going to be here now, and he wants to play for a winning team, a team that can go far in the playoffs. Hey, they just made the third round last year. They made the third round 2 years ago as well. Vegas, man, this is crazy, and then they didn't make the playoffs. They missed the playoffs for the first time in their franchise's history the season Eichel was acquired, and now you don't have Pacioretty anymore, you don't have Lehner anymore, and you have Thompson trying to do everything himself in net. Oh boy, Vegas, Vegas, Vegas. Jack Eichel might not be in the happiest of moods right now after learning what happened to the team's starting goaltender, because boy oh boy, you talk about a team that doesn't have a goalie. I mean, I get it, Robin Lehner was a part of the Buffalo Sabres as well, but Eichel with the Sabres, he kind of played for a team that didn't really have anything there. Now Vegas, you lost out on a whole bunch of players, and methinks this team's probably going to be a bit worse than they were last season, and they still didn't make the playoffs last season either, so Eichel, buddy, I can't really say anything else, but boy oh boy, that's unfortunate. To sum everything up, I definitely do think that it's kind of funny how everything's happening to Vegas here. Like, obviously it's not funny that Lehner is injured, but just taking a look at the reputation that Vegas has built up for themselves, the way they treat their players, the way they trade players away for nothing, the way they fumble the bag in trying to trade players away like Dadonov, and the way they treat people in general, like the Fleury situation put a really sour taste in a lot of NHL fans as to their opinions on the Vegas Golden Knights. And now you missed out on the playoffs after acquiring the superstar that had been wanting to make the playoffs the entire career he has had in the NHL, but just hadn't been able to do so yet. And you might miss him again in 2022-2023 because you lost out on your mainstay Vezina caliber starting goalie for a year. Oh boy. The floodgates have opened, haven't they? Is that karma? I don't know. Talk to me in the comments, like your thoughts about Robin Lehner and everything we have discussed in this video, from his health to the hip surgery, the fact that he is a goaltender getting that hip surgery, Eichel, what do you think about him? What do you think the Golden Knights should do to rebound from missing out on Robin Lehner? I hope you enjoyed this video. Juraj 99. and bye.